Hello guys, this is Nattyz, and this will be the second and final part of my instructional videos for Fury Warriors. In this part, I'll be talking about the rotation and how to optimize your damage as Fury. Since for this I cleared the stat priorities and gearing on part 1. I'll not be talking about enchanting because it's pretty simple. You just get crit, hit rating, plus 20 stats on the chest, landslide on both weapons, and if you can't afford that, just get Hurricane. So, alright, let's get to the rotation. Fury Warriors have some sort of a priority system. As a pre-opener, I usually start with Battle Shout for the extra rage and Heroic Leap, because it is still an attack and it can proc Flurry or Enrage. Now to the rotation, there are 4 abilities that should always be considered: Colossus Smash, Bloodthirst, the Instant Slam, and Raging Blow. Colossus Smash should always be used as it comes off cooldown because it allows your attacks to completely bypass armor, which is a very noticeable DPS increase. Currently, Colossus Smash is affecting the entire raid and not only the warrior who uses it, which is why it's awesome for any melee DPS class in your raid. Bloodthirst comes in second for being the most efficient attack per point of rage, keeping in mind of its short cooldown as well. Use Bloodthirst every time it comes off cooldown. The instant slams are third in priority. Currently in Molten, there is a terrible bug which causes your Bloodthirst crits to remove the instant slam proc, which is why it must be used right after a Bloodthirst, otherwise the proc could get removed. And this rule must always be followed every time you have Recklessness on. Raging Blow is the fourth in priority. It is the most powerful attack per point of rage, but it has a considerable cooldown. It can only be used every time you're enraged. There are 3 ways to get enraged. Enrage from your auto attacks, Berserker Rage, and Death Wish. Use Berserker Rage to enable Raging Blows. Use Heroic Strike as a rage dump to get rid of excess rage, since it is off global cooldown. So going back over that, the priority system should follow as CS, BT, Slam or RB, BT, Slam or RB, BT, on and on until you get another CS, rinse and repeat. And if you have no filler in between your Bloodthirst, you can always Battle Shout to get extra rage. I mean, something is better than doing nothing when it comes utilizing your globals. Try to have your rage in between 30 and 70 points, and this is only for single target DPS. For AoE, Whirlwind becomes of top priority, and now recommend using Cleave before every Whirlwind to cap these stacks with Meat Cleaver. For execute range, this is at 20%. Try to stack your execution stacks up to 5, and then continue on with your rotation. At this point, the rotation becomes a little bit easier since you can execute if you can't use neither Slam or Raging Blow. So execute becomes a filler if those abilities are not active, and do not let your executioner stacks drop off. Spamming execute is not recommended since it consumes a lot of rage and can be a little bit difficult to manage at some stages. However, do not be discouraged, execute still provides some good damage. Once you have mastered the rotation and they become natural to you, you can proceed with the cooldowns. Fury Warriors have 3 cooldowns: Inner Rage, Death Wish, and Recklessness. Inner Rage has a 30-second cooldown and reduces the cooldown of your Heroic Strike and Cleave by half. It's a cooldown within a cooldown, which is awesome. Use this as long as you know you'll be having a lot of rage, for instance if there is some heavy OE or whatever. It's a good thing about Fury Warriors that you can stand in fire and you get the extra rage, so make good use of this. So this basically means it's okay for you to make a mistake such as standing in the fire because you get extra rage out of it. You should always keep track of Death Wish and Wreck. The key of doing damage as Fury Warrior is to utilize these 2 cooldowns all together, as well as your trinket procs. This way you will be able to maximize your damage, and for most of the time your cooldowns will come back together later on to be used again. Unused trinkets have a 2-minute ICD, and on-hit trinkets have a minute and 45 seconds internal cooldown. So if you have an unused trinket, wait for Death Wish to come back off cooldown so you can combine both of them. Remember that while Death Wish is active, you remain enraged, and it lasts for 30 seconds, so you can use Berserker Rage as a rage resource since it is off GCD, and it only has a 23-second cooldown. Now the following clip will work as an example on how the rotation is being put to a raid environment. Specifically it will be Valeonia and Theralion because I thought I did pretty well on this encounter. I was planning on showing some other POVs specifically on BWD or BOT. But for now, this is all I have, so hope you guys like the video, and if you still have any other questions, feel free to message me on forums or in game. Alright, enjoy!
This moment to send me away with a smile on my face. I try to leave, but I turn back. On my heart remains a trace. All that I seek is this moment. All day in my mind I recreate. All that I seek is this moment. All day in my mind I recreate. If there was a way to get back this feeling of chase. If there was a way, if there was a way.
Oh my god.
Oh, only loot from my boss.
I beat a rogue! Oh my god, I beat a rogue in these. A lot of people are
You do that now?
Whoa.